sponsor of Cricket West Indies. Play responsibly. Must be 21 and older to play.
Reliable, dependable, Delta.
If you live here in St. Kitts and your tank on E, there's only one place that you should be. Maybe driving in Nevis and you need some fuel. Go straight to Delta. Don't be a fool. Get your cooking gas fast. All petroleum needs ULSD. Everyone in the region is shouting, go Delta. Premium gasoline in a fully stocked C-store. So there's only one place you should be. Delta Petroleum, baby.
RIA Easy Money Transfer Limited, located on West Independence Square Street, Bastyr, St. Kitts, and the Solomon Arcade, Nevis, offers you safe and reliable transfers at great low rates and fees to 507,000 locations worldwide, with a pickup time of just 15 minutes after your transfer. And for even more ease of doing business, we home deliver and direct bank deposits in selected countries. So if anytime you want to send money to family, friends, and loved ones, at RIA, we've got you covered. With over 30 years of experience moving money quickly, efficiently, and securely across 160 countries. Give us a call at 465-3325 in St. Kitts or 469-3325 in Nevis. Opening hours Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 8:30 in Nevis, and on Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. RIA Easy Money Transfer Limited.
Hey, Webmaster here. I stay connected to Freedom with the Freedom SKN app. Simply search for the Freedom app in the Android's Play Store or the Apple's App Store and download it. Enjoy world-class radio at its best, anytime, anywhere. Become a Freedom apper today.
A very pleasant good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to Issues, a very top world-class talk radio program and world-class radio 106.5 FM. Yes, this is Freedom FM, and once you hear my voice, you know that it is a Wednesday afternoon. My name is Austin Edinburgh, and I'll be your host for today. And today, well, I'm not alone. We are going to have some guests in studio with us. Let me welcome my guests for this afternoon's program, and we'll be speaking to two persons from the Elevate program. And as you know, the Elevate program is a program that was designed under this administration to replace the peace program that was in existence. I want to begin by saying that though the same persons at risk and vulnerable persons who were a part of the peace program benefit from this program, this is an entirely different program. Today, the focus will be on 3 pillars of the Elevate program. There is intervention, there is rehabilitation, and there is transformation. Intervention, of course, is where at-risk and vulnerable persons are identified, analyzed, and rehabilitation is where efforts are made to bring about changes in the way they function, bring them from deviant behavior into productive and economic citizens. And transformation covers the road back to, or the reintroduction, or the re-entry into a productive society. Today we have with us the acting director of the program, Mr. Junie Hodge, and we have, are you his assistant but one of the senior persons? Coordinator. Our coordinator, yes, that's her title. That's what I was looking at for. The coordinator of the program, projects, Miss Collins. And so, folks, welcome to Freedom FM. Welcome to Issues, this world-class talk radio show. Please introduce yourself to the people and tell them what you're about.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alicia Collins, and I'm the project coordinator for Elevate. I'm also a trained family counselor. I'm a community youth, woman and family activist as well.
Okay, activist. That sounds good. I'm a community activist as well.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Junie Hodge, person heading the Elevate office. I'm as humble and as simple as I am. My task is to get the job done.
Okay. And of course, this is your host. Mr. Hodge, let me start with you. What is the expectation in terms of the persons enrolled in the program? What is the expectation of Elevate from them? And is there the training to, I would say, graduate from the program?
Mr. Edinburgh, the expectation of Elevate for all participants is for each and every one of them to elevate themselves from where they are to a better position in life, and so that they can be productive men and women in our society. And that's one reason why this program we introduce to our participants a number of programs to help them in that aspect. One of the program we have is the education program that we offer to our participants and by extension the general public who really need the push in that area, in whatever subject area you're looking at. We also have programs going where we offer training in, as we speak, the solar panel building repairs and installation, which is presently going on at AVEC. We also have soon to start the EV program, the electrical vehicle program. We have the cyber security program. There's so many programs that we have at the moment going to assist our people in St. Kitts and Nevis to elevate them from where they are to a better position positively so that they can make meaningful contribution to our country. We also encourage our participants to become entrepreneurs, and we have, I think it's over 25 of them who are actually entrepreneurs at this moment. We have some persons who graduated from AVEC in different disciplines, and come September there would be one participant, a young lady, should be graduating from the CFBC Teachers Training Program. And it evade me, the others evade me right now. So Ms. Collins will jump in when she can with some of these programs we have to offer.
All right. Well, let me, before we get to Ms. Collins, let me ask you another question. If persons become employed after they have received whatever training and counseling, and they're prepared for the world of work, if they become gainfully employed, or if they have become entrepreneurs, do they remain on the program as persons who, and there is a stipend aspect of the program, and I'll get to that a little more in depthly, but do they remain on the program in terms of receiving a stipend?
What we do, we have a smooth transition to transition these persons off of the program so that they can fend for themselves. But it is done only after we would have an interview or a conversation with them to see where they are at this point in time. Because one can start a business but need assistance in certain areas. So we meet with them and we will discuss and ask where and how we can assist them going forward.
So in other words, once they have reached, if they're in business, once they have reached a certain level in terms of their business and it is sound, it's considered to be sound, then they're weaned off of the program.
They transition off.
Transition off, and that would come with certain consultations and counseling. I know I have to use the word because it's a very important word in the world today.
Yes.
And a person who becomes employed, of course, you would want to ensure that there is some level of continuity and competency and security, and then again there is a transition.
Yes, we do. Yes.
So, in other words, this program is designed to enable the enrollees to move from a state of dependency, because if they have to be receiving a stipend for whatever reason, they're dependent on the state. But so the program is designed to remove them from that point to a point where they become economic citizens.
And self-dependent.
Okay.
And we also encourage them, to those who are entrepreneurs, to assist others by employing them into their businesses so that they too can learn from the persons who are the entrepreneurs.
All right. So let's get to Project Coordinator Collins. Ms. Collins.
Yes, sir.
So a person becomes economically viable if they're having a business. A person becomes sound and competent in a job and earning, and so they no longer receive a stipend. Can they remain on any aspects of the program, maybe in terms of further training, things like that?
Thank you for that question, Mr. Edinburgh. There are several arms of the program, and Mr. Hodge would have spoken a lot about those of our participants who came over from the previous program. And so what we do, we encourage and empower our participants so they can be contributing to society positively. So we have some of our participants who are gearing up to be mentors in their communities. And Mr. Hodge would have spoken about those who have businesses, and they would be able to employ persons in their businesses and receive a stipend as well, because it's a form of training. There are many persons look at the counseling aspect of it, the psychosocial aspect of it. We must remember, however, we can't force someone to participate in counseling.
No.
However, we provide the necessary resources and the tools so they understand when you're ready for this part of the program, then this is available to you. And I must say there are a large number of our participants who have been reaching out for our psychosocial support. And we are not only looking at the reintegration and the rehabilitation. At Elevate, we are also looking at prevention. And so what persons don't recognize is that we have been doing, I know you touched on the pillars, intervention, rehabilitation, and the transformation. If I'm to go back to intervention, the intervention that we do is intense, and we don't do it alone. You know, the Prime Minister would have launched the crime and violence through the public health initiative, and we would have been doing a lot of work on that initiative, a lot of partnership, and so it's working with various stakeholders across the board. So the intervention looks like going into the communities, and so these are the same participants who are also the gateway to our communities. They point us out to some of the young persons who they say, Miss Collins, when I see this young lady, I see this young man, I think they're going down a wrong road. Is there anything you can do? Can you speak with him? Can you speak with her? And they're probably not going to school, so we have partnership with education, with the police, with families, with community groups and organizations, faith-based organizations across the various departments and ministries in the government, and a lot of civil society. We would have partnered with citizen security, and we went into the communities to engage the communities, and we had community engagements. We were able to find out from the communities what are the root causes. So it's not just waiting until someone becomes 16, 17. You see these children, we all say them, you're heading down what we say, the wrong road. So you're heading down the wrong road, but nobody does anything, no intervention. Everybody sits aside and they say, oh, she just wooed and he just wooed, and they're just disrespectful, but where does the buck stop? And so we are in communities, supporting communities and showing each community member. And there were some persons when we went in with citizen security and the team who said, I don't know if this year going to work. And they were being honest. And somebody said, every minute somebody will come and nobody has seen a change, and things like that. And change is a process. And so, but then when persons started to recognize that there were young persons, and a number of our engagements even outside of citizen security collaboration with Elevate, we have been engaging with a number of young persons. Schools sometimes call us, parents call us, and groups and organizations call us. And when we go out there and we speak with some of these young persons, and we recognize, okay, these are the various gaps that exist. Parents are feuding, and so this co-parenting is a big thing in St. Kitts, or the lack thereof. And so being able to recognize the gaps and how we can partner and fill these gaps. So these are things that we have been doing. So even though some of our participants may be economically stable, there is still room for them, because then, the community has already branded so many of them in a negative light, and it gives them the opportunity to reintroduce themselves to the community in a positive light. And it doesn't have to be a big song and dance, but sometimes just being able to speak, share the experience with one of those youngsters in the community and say, listen, I was once here, and this is where it got me. This is not the road you want to take, and the team is here to help you, and I am here to help you if needs be, but you can't go down that road, or else it would be something else. So there are different arms of the program.
Well, I want to
just throw in a thing on that, Mr. Edbarrow. We also assist our participants in finding jobs and for the training to prepare themselves for being on their own. We have walk-ins, people walk in and asking for assistance in training areas or educational programs, and people who everybody would want to write off, but they would have seen the chance for them to elevate themselves, and I like to use the word elevate, to a better position through the services that we offer.
I like the word improve. But let me because Ms. Collins, you spoke about which is true, that counseling is only effective if the person who is to be counseled wants counseling. I'm aware of that. But you also said that a number of the participants on the program are seeking out the counseling. I've spoken about counseling on a number of occasions to persons, and I always have to go to this because we still live in a society where the word counseling is very taboo. Mm-hmm. And it is branded. Well, I wouldn't even say brand, because brand could connote positivity. It is stigmatized. That when people hear the word counseling, they equate it with lunacy, with craziness, with mental illness rather than mental health. And so my question to you, have there been discussions, or whether with the participants or the society as a whole, or do you think we need some more discussions in that, in terms of persons understanding the importance of counseling in their personal development and their mental health?
Before Ms. Collins jump in, two persons on this radio station has made that process even more easy for persons to appreciate the process. That's EK and Sugar Bowl, because they would have gone through counseling process and they would have spoke about it on their program. So you find some of our participants would volunteer for the counseling session.
And I'm glad that they have. And I too have spoken about it many times. And I've always said, when it was apparent that I was coming in to work in the job that I had, I sought counseling. It was not because I was crazy.
Right.
It was not because I felt incompetent.
To prepare you for the job.
It is about preparing me for the job at hand. So
I'll also add, I would have heard, because I listened to Michelle as well, Sweet Sister Sensi, and she talks a lot about mental wellness and mental health. I mean, I think across our media locally, much more have been said. I think also the National Counseling Center, they have done tremendous work. We have done tremendous work at National Counseling Center over the years. So though counseling is still stigmatized in some areas, it is no longer that much of a taboo as it was before.
I agree with that.
Because we now have persons, most of the time back then it was more so referrals, but we now have persons coming forward and referring themselves and recognizing that they need some assistance. I know sometimes you look at social media in a negative light, but it has so much power. And I think after COVID-19, after persons recognize the trauma that being locked away and the economic strains and constraints that came with COVID-19, I recognize that social media was blowing up about mental health and mental wellness, to the point now where persons are recognizing self-care. And at National Counseling Center, that is something we get called out a lot into business places and into communities and just into different spaces, how to teach the staff, how to teach families, how to teach young people, children, how to just take a break. And so, as I said, we would have made a lot of strides over the years, and we still have more work to do, but it is not as bad as it was once. So I would say all of us, we have a part to play, and we all have traumas. I know we made a joke outside. You said outside, Mr. Edinburgh, Miss Collins, I want counseling, and you said Junie want counseling too.
Yeah, that's my friend.
And,
He needs.
and Junie said, you want counseling? And so you said, well, see Miss Collins out there, and I said, well, Miss Collins needs some counseling too.
Yes.
Because the thing is, and this is something I every time I get the opportunity to engage people, I remind the persons that the person who you're sitting next to, that person is fighting a silent battle that you have no idea what they're fighting. And so it helps if we extend grace and care and love to others, but we can only give it if we can give it to ourselves. And so even in these one-on-one conversations with participants, these are things that I say, because it is deeply rooted within me. And I mean, as I said, I need counseling too.
Of course.
And because all of us, there is something, some fragmentation of our past, of our childhood, even now, even some parts of our now, that has the potential to trigger us based on past traumas. And so I know, Mr. Edinburgh, I know you're big on the counseling thing. You're always in my ear. Miss Collins, come talk about counseling. So it was no surprise that you brought up the counseling question. So, yes, and also the family counseling aspect as well. The family counseling looks at relationship building, communication, conflict resolution, and even on under the public health initiative model, we see how communication and conflict resolution, these are preventative methods.
Of course.
So it's not waiting until something happens, but we are out there, even in our rehabilitation program, because in our rehabilitation program we are working alongside the staff and leadership of the HMP, where we the team select fathers, and we're going to be doing some work with mothers as well, but we started with the fathers because when we speak with children, a lot of them sometimes indicate, even in our across our counseling board, they said, my father is incarcerated. And so we see the traumas that are connected to some of these, to the incarceration. And so the fathers get the opportunity to connect with their children in person and they spend time with them, they talk with them, they share whatever they need to share, and they're able to build and bond. You know, I mean, no child should have to pay the price for an adult's decision, but it happens. And so, even in doing so, we are teaching these parents to start to reconnect with their children. So when they have transitioned out, then it's an even more seamless transition, because they have already built that bond, and you know, the children don't feel neglected and alone and all of these other things, depressed, all of these other emotions that they express, that they feel with their fathers and sometimes mothers being absent because of incarceration.
And Mr. Nimbawo, when we're doing our intervention, we would have realized too that persons who we would have visited are in need of counseling. So we would make the recommendation to them so that they too can think about it and move forward in getting the counseling. But one thing that we found out during our intervention, there are some men who have children by different women, and the mothers are telling some of these children that they're not sibling to the other because, well, they're from a different mother. And it is causing problem in society where we have the youngsters physically fighting against themselves. So we met with the fathers and the children, had good conversation, and we point out to the father that he is responsible for letting his children know that they are siblings. Since the mothers are, you know, trying to separate them, it's his responsibility to let them know that they are siblings and they must behave like siblings, not fighting in the public and, you know, causing public disturbance.
Now, I do agree with you that could affect the growth of a child. And I do agree with you as well that the fathers have a responsibility, and perhaps the greater responsibility. But I believe that we need to reach out to the mothers. And I don't want it to appear as though I am coming down on mothers. But there are ills in society that affect the children negatively that is more carried by the father. There are also ills in the society that affect children negatively that's more carried by the mothers. And so I believe that when as a parent, when you think that you are doing something for your satisfaction, I believe we need to pay more attention to how it is negatively affecting the child. Well, Junior, let me come back to you, because I like to focus on rehabilitation a little bit, because yes, I know that counseling and I'm going to use the word over and over because counseling is. Just the other day, I was looking at a tennis match. A player from the U.S. She had taken, I think, a year out. And that's apart from Venus did it. Venus didn't say what it was at the time either, because there was still a big taboo. She stepped back. There was Simone Biles, the gymnast, she did that. There was I think there was some basketball player. I mean, there are people who are big names in sports, the things that we look at, the things that we seem to cherish, who have taken time away for their mental well-being, for their mental health. And they come back and they're stronger. They may not do as much of one aspect of what they used to do, But not doing it and focusing on where they're strong makes them stronger. And I believe that there are enough examples in the world. Entertainers do it too. Mm-hmm. There are enough examples in the world that we can find of persons who took a step away for their mental well-being. Because if you don't do that, then you would become sick. That's the difference. If you don't take care of your mental well-being, you will become sick.
Or dead.
Or dead. So I just want to say that when we are looking at rehabilitation, I know there is an aspect of counseling in it, but could you focus a little on the training aspect of rehabilitation and the focus also on responsibility, persons taking responsibility for their own actions or past actions and advancement in society.
And for rehabilitation, it starts with a change of mind. And that's why you shouldn't be reminded every day of the mistake you would have made. You want that time to look at your mistake as an individual, atone for it, and that's what the prison is for, really, rehabilitation. The prison is not a place of punishment. It's a place where rehabilitation takes place. The punishment is the time the court would impose on you to spend at the prison for rehabilitation. So in the program that would be provided for you to go through your rehabilitation process will help you in changing your mindset in order to become a better person. But you must, as the individual, admit to yourself where you were wrong and what you need to do to correct the mistake you would have made. Some of the mistake you may not be able to get over it because it might be greater than others. But once you would have accepted the fact that, well, you were responsible for what you did, and you were able to, as we would say, ask for forgiveness, especially of the person who you might have aggrieved. That's where the process of rehabilitation really takes place. And then after that, we as a society must give you that chance to go through the greater part of the rehabilitation process by being reintegrated into society, being accepted for who you are now and not to be judged on your past. As one old man said to me, no one is too good where they can't come bad, and no one is too bad where they can't come good. So the point he's trying to make, and the point the whole system is trying to make, once one would have atoned for the mistake they would have made, asked for forgiveness, and wants to move on positively in building themselves and their nation, we must not be a stumbling block. We must give them equal opportunity like everyone else. Because if we don't, the rehabilitation process will not be completed. So it's a holistic approach. The individual, the system, and society.
And if I'm to add, in relation to the training, most of our participants would have completed life skills and financial literacy training, which they would have focused on conflict resolution, themselves as parents, how they can contribute positively to their society, to their families, self-care, budgeting, and all of these other areas. And as well, we have some of our participants, as Mr. Hodge would have indicated, they're enrolled in various training at vocational institutions, and there are some training that will be coming on stream. And as they are, some of them are also on job attachments and looking at moving into fields of interest. And as they are even on the job and in these skill training areas, we get the opportunity to see how they apply the skills learned from the various training, and to be able to support them and reinforce what they would have learned and show them how the training not only benefits them in that moment, but how it can be used to be taken throughout the rest of their lives in their community, job, themselves, society, their families, etc.
Wherever they go.
You spoke, Mr. Edinburgh, I mean, just go back a bit, about self-care. I don't want people to mistake self-care for self-indulgence, because oftentimes, sometimes people say, oh, you know, this is my self-care time, but you can't be having a self-care time when you're going to be drinking rum excessively, drunk, drugs, pass out, can't catch yourself, don't remember, but people call that the self-care.
But
so,
care, I know it is self, but I can't understand the care.
Exactly. You can't understand it, but there are persons, because I know, like in a session I was doing, and this gentleman, he said, but Miss Collins, when me want to get rid of me, probably know what me do, drink rum, and then me wake up tomorrow, me not think me remember that day. It might take about a week, 2 weeks, 3 more weeks to come back to me, but I take care in the moment. So he said, that's my self-care regimen. I said, how many other problems occur by you being intoxicated? He said, ma'am, that's a big one for you. And then, you know, he went on to say, from the same self-care technique, he got a whole baby out of it, and he didn't know. So that ain't the self-care. So, I mean, people must understand there is a difference between self-care and self-indulgence, because we're not talking about self-care, you're looking at improving and maintaining your overall well-being, and over a period of time, and it has the long-term effects. I know we spoke about the process. People always say, you know, people don't talk about trust the process, but even transformation, it's a process. Because I can't just go into a class today and come out transform tomorrow. Who are you fooling? Not even myself.
Well, we're going to get to that, but I want to focus a little more on the rehabilitation. And I know that, well, once you say rehabilitate or rehab, whatever, once it's it is indicating that you have to revisit something that you're doing that you are not, or you have not done so correctly. But in the society, it is extremely easy, and I think being misunderstood. When people hear the terms rehabilitate, they think that you have to have entered a prison. Now I know that Elevate is helping or collaborating with the prison in terms of persons who would have served their time and coming out, and some of the part of the rehabilitation would have started in the prison and you would continue. So let me speak to the altering of behavior, which is a form of rehabilitation.
It is.
Which is a more of what we need to do, but less of what is focused upon. How do you find it? Do you find it challenging? Because I don't think a lot of your participants would not have been in prison, except those that are coming from HMP to do some job attachment and, you know, re-entry into society. But so your rehabilitation is mainly focused on persons who have not been institutionalized in terms of a prison.
That is so true.
Being in prison. But they have particular behaviors that one society would have frowned, the majority of society, let me put it that way, because I don't exclude them from being part of the society. But the majority of the society would think that that is wrong. That's number one. Two, that behavior would have caused negative impact on others. And so when you are working with those persons who have not been in a correctional institution, but yet you are telling them that they're going to a rehabilitation program, do you find them, questioning whether they need rehabilitation, number one, and number two, how do you get them to understand that their behavior patterns, their actions would have negatively impacted other persons other than themselves in the society?
Well, to begin, we don't say you're in a rehabilitation program.
Mm-hmm.
The process just flows.
Okay.
And so from the inception and in being able to execute in being able to execute something like this, you must be strategic and intentional.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some words you don't have to use, but you know what the overall goal and objective are. You know what you're aiming towards. And for me, it doesn't make sense leading persons back. I don't have to take you back to what you've done wrong.
Right.
Because then if society has already held you to that, you have already heard that from your family. You have already beaten yourself up about all of the mistakes you've made. So I don't focus on that, even though the overall goal is for persons to reflect and understand, okay, this is what I did, this is where I was, this is where I am, and this is where I want to go. I don't ever use those words. And so strategically and intentionally, I build on people's strengths. That's who I am as an individual, and I got further training in that. I view things and I view people from a strength-based approach. So it's what they're good at. And those are the things that I zero in on. So if everybody would say, for example, just this Tom is this bad boy. Jessie is this bad girl. And all they do is this. When I engage Jessie and Tom, I don't care what Mr. Edinburgh said to me about them. I don't care what Mr. Hodge said. I am seeing them for the first time through my lenses. And I want them to tell me what lenses they want me to view them through. And even when I sit with persons and I ask them, tell me 3 positive things about yourself. It happens with adults, children, youth, across the board. They struggle to find something positive to say about themselves. And when I ask them, tell me one thing, one negative thing about yourself, one thing you think you need to change or you need to work on. One, they'll tell me 20. And I won't ask for one. So it shows me that because we are just reminded of our past, we are reminded of the things we are not good at, we are reminded of our deficits. So I am not reminding anybody of their deficits. They would have already heard it. Society, some of them would have already paid the price. So that's not what Elevate is there for. It's seeing the strengths in them that nobody saw, sometimes not even they themselves sight. And it's working on that strength until they reach up and they say, Miss Collins, I went down a real shady road back then, and I don't want to go down there. And I don't want my son go down there, I don't want my daughter go down there. And even from just working from that angle, that is how we are able to connect with the children of the participants and family members, because then they say, and then they are the ones who refer, I have this family member, I have this community member, I have this child, they're going down the wrong road, and I don't want them to go down there. So it's being strategic and intentional and moving from a strength-based approach as opposed to a deficit.
Before you come in, let me try and pay some bills.
Okay.
So what I will do, I'll go to a break, commercial break. then I would hear you when I come back, Mr. Hodge, and then we would kind of put some focus on the transformation or the re-entry into society, and then we will take some calls. All right, so we will go to the commercials for today, and we'll be right back. This is Issues, and we'll see you on the other side of the commercials.
For Culturama 51, National Bank wants you to swipe more, win more, and experience more. When you use your National Bank Visa credit or debit card this summer, you're swiping your way to VIP tickets, a celebrity makeover, and liming cash for Culturama 51. From June 18th to July 28th, every swipe over $100 gets you a chance to win a VIP Culturama experience. Pick your event, get a glam makeover, skip the line, and lounge like a star. Or grab $500 in liming cash and splurge to the max. Draws take place live at the National Bank Group Soca Monarch semifinals on July 19th and the official opening of Culturama on July 24th. 2 big nights, 4 big winners. Only with National Bank, your premier platinum sponsor for Culturama 51.
Reliable, dependable, Delta.
If you live here in St. Kitts and your tank on E, there's only one place that you should be. Maybe driving in Nevis and you need some fuel. Go straight to Delta. Don't be a fool. Get your cooking gas fast. All petroleum needs ULSD. Everyone in the region is shouting, go Delta. Premium gasoline in a fully stocked C-store. So there's only one place you should be, Delta Petroleum, baby.
Y'all ready for this? St. Kitts and Nevis, are you ready? The game is about to change. Sports betting and iGaming like you've never seen it before. Coming soon. Powered by BetCage Sports. The action, the odds, the thrill. Bet the way you want. Anytime, anywhere. Get ready, St. Kitts and Nevis, because BetCage Sports is bringing the heat. The heat is on. Proud sponsor of Cricket West Indies. Play responsibly. Must be 21 and older to play. The heat is
RIA Easy Money Transfer Limited, located on West Independence Square Street, Bastyr, St. Kitts, and the Solomon Arcade, Nevis, offers you safe and reliable transfers at great low rates and fees to 507,000 locations worldwide, with a pickup time of just 15 minutes after your transfer. And for even more ease of doing business, we home deliver and direct bank deposits in selected countries. So if anytime you want to send money to family, friends, and loved ones, at RIA, we've got you covered. With over 30 years of experience moving money quickly, efficiently, and securely across 160 countries. Give us a call at 465-3325 in St. Kitts or 469-3325 in Nevis. Opening hours Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 8:30 in Nevis, and on Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. RIA Easy Money Transfer Limited.
Hey, Webmaster here. I stay connected to Freedom with the Freedom SKN app. Simply search for the Freedom app in the Android's Play Store or the Apple's App Store and download it. Enjoy world-class radio at its best, anytime, anywhere. Become a Freedom apper today.
Well, welcome back to Issues St. Kitts Nevis today. You are listening to Freedom FM 106.5. And we have with us today two persons from the Elevate program that is dealing with the challenged individuals, persons who are more at risk. And this program is geared at re-entering them into society, bringing them from a position of dependency, whether it is through deviance, whether it is through looking to other persons to assist them into a place where they are economic citizens, productive citizens, and is in a better position financially, mentally, and all of the leads you could find to contribute positively to our society. Mr. Hodge, you wanted to say something before we went to break, so I'll hear you, and then we will focus on the transformation or re-entry into society.
Yes, Mr. Edinburgh, just to support what Ms. Collins said a while ago, while doing some intervention, myself and Dr. Powell, who work alongside Elevate, doing counseling, one young man said to us, if you want me to be rehabilitated, why would you want to call me the name that I'm associated with when I'm making my mistakes? I prefer to be called by my correct name instead of my alias that connects me to my deviant behavior. So it goes to show us too that the change have to come from within too. Mm-hmm. Yes, we give them the support, we point them in that direction, but they too have to accept the fact that they need help and they need change.
Well, now that we're moving into the transformation and re-entry into society, I want to say, I think I've said it to the society before, but let me bring it up once again with you two. I listen to a lot of, documentaries, magazines, programs. I don't read as much as I used to. The eyes will get a little weaker. So I listen a lot more. And there was a program, I think it was on BBC, or it perhaps was on CNN. But I know it was about someone who lived in New York City. He went to prison for drugs. And when I say drugs, not for using drugs, for selling drugs. He was a trafficker. I think that first time he either 3 or 5 years, he said he got. But he said when he came out of prison, he went from the prison where he was released right back into buying more or getting more drugs to go and sell again. So he went right back to what he knew. And sometime shortly after that, he was caught again. And this time he got about 10 years. It was for his second offense. But he said the minute he walked through the gate and was incarcerated again, he made one decision. He's not coming back here. When he's released, he's not coming back to this place. And he started focusing on what he can do to prevent himself from going back to prison.
So right there, Lord, that transformation comes from within.
But the thing is that he felt as though society had done him a wrong by not holding out their hands to him the minute he walked through the prison gate. He walked out of the prison gate because he had served his time. he said he recognized that that was his mistake because he served his time for drug trafficking.
And he was not given a second chance.
No, he did not. I'm telling you what he said.
Yes.
He did not serve the time for the trust that he betrayed in the society. And so he realized that when he comes back out, he needs to rebuild the trust. He needs to rebuild the trust. And there were two things that he did. He learned about entrepreneurship in prison. And so when he came out that time, he was prepared to become an entrepreneur. But he still would have had problems going into the bank and getting financing. And so he had to work on rebuilding the trust. And in rebuilding the trust, he did a lot of volunteerism. Gain the confidence of persons who would believe in his vision and assisted him in getting the financing. Of course, he went on to say that once his business was set up, he made it a point that if a person comes out of prison and come for him to them for a job, he understood what it was, and so he did not want them to go through what he went through, and he would seek to assist them, but he would also make sure that they understand that they need to rebuild the trust. So my question is, how can Elevate take that into reintroduction into society? And again, it doesn't have to be persons who are in prison, because most of your people do not. But some of their actions would have impacted negatively on others. And maybe that is the reason why those persons do not have the trust in them. And you can't, I think it's unfair, let me put it this way. I think it is unfair for the society or anybody in the society to expect that person to just want to open their arms up to them without them also showing that they want they're willing to change, and they want to rebuild the trust. So how do we balance these two things in your program?
But that's why when we meet with our participants, the life skill training that we offer to them, that's one of the aspects that would come out, that they as individuals, they too have to prove to themselves that they're ready to be, well, they're already in society, but they're ready to be accepted by society. They're ready to, let me just use the word, accept the hand of friendship from society and move on from where they are now to a better place. They ought not to accept, they ought not to expect that society will just give them everything they want. They have to work for it. And this is the thing we try to educate our participants about preparing themselves to be productive men and women in our society. Bearing in mind that there are some persons who ended up on the program who really ought not to have been there, but they're benefiting from the trainings and so that we're offering. And the psychosocial aspect to help them in presenting themselves to society as a changed individual. But they must volunteer for that service. We don't force it on them. And we are seeing some change in a whole lot of them, to the point where some of them have decided that wherever they see wrong about to happen, they will step in and try to prevent it, which is a good thing. Because they have children and they want to leave a better St. Kitts and Nevis for the children than what they have now. And I think that's a good angle for them to use to reach to the point where they want to, focusing on their children.
I'll get a little more specific with you, Ms. Collins. So I'm still on that because we're talking about transformation. We're talking about persons being able to recognize that they have done wrong and they have a responsibility to change the perception that others have of them. And so my question to you, are there, and I'm still going to ask a question, but I've listened and I've recognized that some of the things that you have already said that you're doing is in that vein, but let me be specific and ask, are they encouraged to do one of, these three things? One, acceptance of their wrong. Yes. Two, taking responsibility.
Yes.
And three, the importance of volunteerism on their journey back.
Thank you, Mr. Edinburgh. I was just waiting for Mr. Hodge to finish, to add first to the story that you shared. But before I touch on that, I'm going to backpedal a bit. I spoke about strength-based approach and strength-based language. You identified our participants as challenged individuals. They are not. They're elevating individuals.
Okay.
And there's power in words. And if we continue to label them as such, that is what we will see. No matter what change happens, we wouldn't see it. If I go back to the story, my question to you is, that young man, that individual, would you say any transformation happened before he landed back into prison the second time?
Well, I don't know, because he didn't, all he spoke about was what happened to him. He left prison, and when he left, because that's what he said, when he left the prison gate, he went right back to a supplier to get drugs to sell again.
So this is the reason why I asked. Transformation is a process. And sometimes what we are looking for is this end goal, this product that we want to say, yes, Edinburgh has been transformed. Not recognizing transformation happens. It happens within persons internally before it starts to manifest itself without. So sometimes you sit down and you say, she's still this person, he's still this person. I use the church a lot because I love the church. I love God above all.
Okay.
May I go and touch that base with you? So
no,
yes.
Don't get into that discussion.
So, no, but my thing is, because sometimes you're going to the church and people say, oh, she not change. How you gonna them change? How you gonna they're supposed to pray? How they supposed to? Yes, I understand there were fruits that you are supposed to see, but it doesn't mean that nothing happened. It doesn't mean that there was no form of transformation that happened, because the biggest prison that any man or woman can live is the prison of the mind, mentally. Mm-hmm. And there are persons who beat up themselves because they understand they wronged society. Right. They broke the trust of the persons who loved them most and who they loved the most. There are persons who recognize, I dropped the ball, and my parents didn't raise me this way, the community didn't raise me so this, my grandparents didn't, and they beat up themselves. But we don't recognize transformation has been happening. I can tell you, from that story, transformation did happen. He just happened to have made a poor decision. And that is why the moment he re-entered those walls, that was not the moment transformation started. Transformation started a long time ago. So by the time he stood there, he was like, oh my gosh, I don't belong here. But he didn't just have to come to that conclusion. And so, in relation to our participants, responsibility, accountability, those are things that we focus on without even mentioning the words. And sometimes, and that's the thing, sometimes society, you have a package, because for Mr. Edinburgh, maybe a shot of transformation will be for persons to come forward and say, yes, I did this, and I did. Maybe for a mother, transformation for her would look like my son just coming home and hugging me how he used to. My daughter coming, calling me to say, Mommy, I'm here. Transformation for a pastor may look like they want somebody, they want to see you praying, or they want to see you reading your Bible. Transformation spells differently for different people. But my thing is, sometimes we just have to be able to commend people and be intentional about looking for the small changes. Because even in doing so, we are adding to their transformation and we are supporting them on this road of transformation. So, yes, it is true we want, and volunteerism, of course, we have our participants who are out there, some of them volunteer, help seniors clean up their home, their yards and things like that. There's some of them who help young persons with assignments. There's some of them who would call and say, Miss Collins, this youngster in the community, I think he needs some help. I know you all have some classes going on. Maybe if you all could bring it in our community for the next time around. So volunteerism doesn't always look like, okay, let me go out there and wash down a wall. Yes, it is true, the community wants to see them, but the community too, we have to understand that we also play a part. Because as the community, we love to disassociate ourselves from the wrongdoings that people do. You and I, because men not saint either. But we must understand that we, the community, they are the product of us. Exactly. And so we can't disassociate ourselves. So there are no people who say, he mother not raise him, so she mother not raise him, so. But there are other aspects in the community where wrong is being called right and wrong is being swept under the rug. But then we expect, and then we say, the children, them should live what they hear, not what they see. Listen to what I tell you, but don't do what I do. How? Where? When? You understand? So we all have a part to play.
Remember our participant contributed to the Saddlers Primary School. They went and raised raised funds. Miss Collins can tell you the story.
Well, I remember that I said, I noticed that some of the things that you have said, that you are doing those things.
Yes.
But this is about the society.
Yes.
This is not just about the participants. This is about all of us.
Right.
And I'm not saying who's wrong or who's right here.
But I think now, Aston, because we're here now, society might tend to look at our participant from a different light.
But that is the intention, isn't it? But for me, I'm just saying, though, because I believe in accountability. Yes. Even if it is me. Because I'm never too big to say I'm sorry.
Right.
Exactly.
And I'm never too big. Well, first, let me put it in context and in order. I'm never too big to say I'm wrong, because that's the first thing you got to do.
Right.
And I'm never too big to apologize.
Yep.
I do those things. I do those things because I know they're important. And it is difficult for quite a number of us if we can't see that that person has accepted responsibility. And the acceptance of responsibility is to accept that what you did negatively impacted others. That's the acceptance of responsibility. And if you don't express some form of apology or sorrow or remorse for what you did, I'm also human. I'm trying to get us where we need to be. I'm saying I'm also human. So those who find it extremely difficult and don't want to, you also have to see what they're saying. And this thing is about all of us coming together. And that's why I was so moved by what the gentleman said, what he explained. Because he said when he came out, he knew that he wanted to be an entrepreneur. But he also knew that he couldn't go into an institution and get funding.
Yep.
So what he did was to focus and volunteerism, rebuild the trust, and then used that trust to gain the support for financial resources to become an entrepreneur. And, I'm just saying that sometimes people might think I'm trying to figure out who's right or who's wrong. I believe if anybody who would have followed me would know that I always ask, what is it that we did wrong? What is it that my generation did wrong, that the younger generation are the way they are? Maybe we didn't do anything wrong. Maybe we did. But all of us have a responsibility to get us to where we are. So let me just ask 2 questions and leave it to you to answer, and then we want to begin to open up the line. Okay, we're already beyond where we should have been for the line. So very briefly, is there any specific program in place to mentally stimulate or to bring the society as a whole together with those who would have perceived to have done some wrong in understanding each other so that we can get to a better place?
As Ms. Collins said earlier, we're partnering with not only with the faith-based community, but the social development unit, the citizen security unit, all relevant, all the stakeholders in society that can.
How about the Chamber of Industry and Commerce?
Well, we have to reach out to them.
We have been in partnership with them as well.
Okay.
Right, so that's what we're doing at the moment. And we're also asking persons out there who can assist to come on board, to contact us, come on board and let us work together to make St. Kitts and Nevis that paradise that it has always been. The office for Elevate is on the Irish Tongue Bay Road. We don't have a landline as yet, soon to come, but you can walk in and we can have a conversation at the Elevate office at the Bay Road. That's the grey building. As soon as you pass the Senate off, heading into Bastille, you will see the sign Elevate. We're on the upstairs.
We would have met with the chamber and a representative from USAID. There was an entire program we designed last year, but then you know what happened to USAID. It has been pulled out from under the rug. So, and we have the support of the chamber as well. But it's just, even without funding, these things happen, but they happen on a smaller scale. It sounds to me that like you are looking at something on a wider scale. We already have, like, some of our participants are working on a program to go into the school for the upcoming school year to basically use their life stories as a testimony and a deterrent for young persons. And they are the ones who said that this is what we want to do. There are some of our participants who would have reached out to us and said, there are persons in our, because the thing is, maybe people think that our participants are just there sitting down and they have not made any amends or anything.
Not maybe. That thought is in society.
Okay,
but we're letting them know now that.
But our participant, there is a program that I would have reached out to a seamstress recently and a tailor, because some of the participants in a particular area, they recognize there are a number of young persons in their community and across the connecting communities, and also some of the veterans in those communities who are into dressmaking and music, like, playing those traditional instruments, and they want us to bring a community program on board for not only, but is intergenerational connectedness, where they'll use these veterans in the community to teach the younger persons in the community. The ideas are coming from them. And so when we roll out these programs, they are going to be the faces of these programs. We also have our Elevate Educate, that is where the entire tutoring team, they were once incarcerated. They have been rehabilitated, and now they are giving back to the communities. They have been working with the New Horizons students, tutoring 7 subjects. We are going to be rolling out into the community, and so I take this, and there are also participants who have enrolled in their tutoring sessions as well. And now the tutors are ready, because we're just getting them to build up the momentum and to gain their footing. And so they're ready for the next school year for us to roll out into the communities in collaboration with social services and community development and the various groups and organizations in the communities and education. So we'll be sitting with these stakeholders to find out where are the gaps that exist, and how can we use our community centers and our other safe spaces in the community to bring our children together. Elevate will be paying the tutors. The only thing caregivers have to do, parents have to do, guardians have to do, send the children.
Or show up with them.
And or bring them, because then adults also can be enrolled in the classes, and they will be going on to CSEC. If they are ready, they can do CSEC and the CAPE as well. There is also the rehabilitation and integration. We spoke about the fathers who are incarcerated. We're going to be extending it to mothers. We're looking at persons who are coming out, those residents who are coming out from behind the walls. We have been providing support for them, and we'll be working with them, providing them a stipend and helping them to get their social security cards, their bank information, write their resumes, and connecting them with jobs. It's a process. And there's also family counseling services that we offer to our participants. There's also therapy as well that is offered. There is so much. And I know, persons might say, oh, you're just talking about, but it's a process. And we can't bite off more than we can chew. And at the beginning you spoke about how persons perceived at some point counseling. It's the same thing how they would have perceived so many other things. Because there are participants now who are saying, I didn't come out of school with any subjects. I didn't have a chance. How can I get at least math and English? And so they are going back into the tutoring program where we will be paying the tutors, and they just show up. Good behavior, anxious to learn, want to learn. And even through these channels, we would be using these as the opportunity. So our participants to be saying to the community, to be showing the community, I know I messed up. This is where I am now. And this is where I want you to meet me, because this is what I want for us to do, to continue to build a safer community.
And just on the weekend, we had a master music course. Some of our participants were part of it also, along with members of the general public. So these are programs that Elevate, offering to help improve our people.
In the music production.
And
there's the solar panel program launched in partnership with AVIC.
On Monday.
Launched on Monday. We have young persons who are school leavers.
We have participants on it?
We have participants as well. And so I take this opportunity as well. If you're a school leaver and you're not certain which way to go, you're not certain what you want to do with your life, please head on down to Irish Town Bay Road at the Elevate office. What's the name of the Ship It for Less, I think?
Ship It for Less.
Ship It for Less is downstairs. We are upstairs. Go there, fill out the form, the school leavers form, so we can see how best we can support and serve and continue to empower you, because the ultimate goal is for us to continue to recognize that each person has the potential to be a positive contributor to society. So we're not leaving anybody behind.
Well, let me say this, because I've been aware of some of the programs, but I'm even more informed and more enlightened, and I'm sure that other members of the public would be. I'm always going to be tough when I'm asking questions. But if people don't know, then you might as well, I'm just saying, you might as well just put it under a cover. And so this is intended for you to bring out to the public the things that this program Elevate has done and is doing to make this St. Kitts and Nevis a better, safer community. Well, we do have some time, and I want to open up the lines to the callers. And somebody's already calling. We'll get to you right now, but just to give everybody the number, 662-1065, 465-6474, 465-0546. And let us take the first caller. Good afternoon, caller. You're on Issues.
Mr. Lemar, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
And good afternoon to the panelists.
Good afternoon,
and all the
sir.
listeners.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. I call from across the waters.
Mm-hmm.
They're part of a community group, so. But if you ask this question, just to public. Okay, Mr. Ellenborough, make one suggestion with, suggestion. Somebody experience, but the essence we get from that experience itself, and the one would decide to make the change. Am I right with that, Mr. Ellenborough?
Well, anybody who change can only happen within a person's life if they want to change. So you're correct.
Okay. Yeah. So here may ask now, pertaining to the councillors now. Let's say if one somebody where gang related, but he get first. But the point about it, the kind of he or she the kind of funding that he or she used to hold. Mm-hmm. Then now he come to you, and then why after now is that it come up to the standard, and that reflect back and reflect back and reflect back. Give me something now that I would do now for council or something for right to take that kind of mindset out of that person. Get the question?
Yeah, and I think it's a very good one. So just as if you understand, you understood the question.
Yes.
Okay, the participants here have understood your questions, and they would respond to you. Thank you very much for your concern and your question.
So thank you for that question, sir. And how I understand it is that, somebody would have been involved in gaining large sums of money illegally, and now they come to us and, they want to change, but they recognize the change that we are talking about doesn't have a lot of change as in money change, but is more change as in changing the person. So how do we work on changing that mindset? That mindset can only be changed by that individual. What we can use some of the techniques, find out from them what matters to you. Who matters to you? There had to be a driving force, something had to happen for them to even think about coming to us. They had to have seen some essence in what we have been doing. So we will look at what drove them to us, what was the driving factor, and we work from that angle and go. Because the thing is, if somebody, because we would have heard, persons would say, if they make $20,000 a day, you're going to come tell me come make $2,000 a month? And those are the realities. But what can you lose? Who can you lose? Who can lose if you continue to make this money in a way that's illegal?
Well, let's put it in a way that puts their life in jeopardy.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes I'm a person who like to be straight.
Or the lives of their loved one.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So it's looking at what matters to them, who matters to them, and why. What was the why? What drove them here? Because something would have went off in their mind. Okay, I'm getting a lot of money. I'm getting a lot of change. The money, the bling bling, but I need to change. So something brought them to us, and then we'll work from there. Go on.
Exactly, and I'm happy that you spoke of it in that manner, because I consider it a very good question.
Yes.
I've heard persons in the society
It's a
speaking
reality.
about it.
Yes.
But I believe, as you have said, if you think that you needed to come, then you better identify the reason why you think that you needed to come.
Right.
And it's like in, I think judo operates that way. You take a person weight and you just turn them over. And so if he knows that if he didn't think that he needed to come, or she, they would not have come in the first place. Well, let me again say 465-0546, 662-1065, or 465-6474. Those are the numbers. We only have a few more minutes, so if you wish to speak to the persons from Elevate, you could call. But in the meantime, let me just put something to the two of you, since we don't have a call. The perception, and I want to talk about that perception of what the program is, as against what you have said here this afternoon. Because there are some people who still think that whatever is invested into that program is just about paying lazy criminals money, hard-earned taxpayers' money for staying home.
No.
I'm saying
No.
I like to be honest and real, and there is that perception. You have said some things this afternoon that challenges that perception. So I want you to build on that and inform the public.
Based on what we have said so far.
Stick a pin, because once the public want to, all right, but if the caller calls back, I'll ask you to hold and take the call. But go ahead, Mr. Hodge.
Based on what we have said so far, it would show that whatever the perception is of the public is not accurate.
All right, let's stick a pin. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Edinburgh. Good afternoon, Mr. Hodge.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Collins.
Good afternoon.
I've been listening to you all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of tears coming to my eyes, right? Because I said that, hear me, Kada. For example, Agriculture Department, I am on Elevate program, so I believe I'm eligible to express my views.
Mm-hmm.
Agriculture Department come on my farm, 2023, with a bulldozer, push down my fence. Right now, I can't have talk like how the voice is going to me so hard, right? I got my pipe connection start with the Anglican Church in St. Peter's. It take me over a mile in pipe to get water on my farm. Man come cut me pipe. Commissioner of Police involved. Minister of Agriculture involved. The Permanent Secretary of Agriculture involved. The Prime Minister involved too. We were supposed to be exporting seasoning peppers and ain't come to be. And that's why I'm talking about just ain't real.
So let me ask you a question, Kashwai. Let me ask you. But you say you're on. No, let me just say. What did you say? You're on the Elevate program?
That is what I'm saying. That's why I said like the rights.
Okay, it's not about rights. Really and truly. No. This afternoon, Kashwai.
I should have been off of this long time.
Kashwai, this afternoon, the program. This program is not about rights. It's about sometimes you need to listen as well. It's about helping people. Yeah, but it's about helping people as well.
No, but what I'm saying.
No, Kashwai.
I help myself. No, but I only got 7 minutes power on my phone.
Yes, but life is not about any one person. I listen to you.
Involved with me exporting seasoning peppers.
I listen to you, and the folks listen to you, but you seem not to want to listen to anybody.
But I'm speaking, Mr. Hodge, could we set up a time to me and you could sit down and discuss this?
Mr. Edinburgh, I'll say this.
My number is 668-2555.
All right, somebody would call you.
I would have spoken with Kashwai already. I actually went, I drove to St. Peter's to meet with him. He heard out what has transpired. I reached out to agriculture, but what was said to me is that the matter is at the police, and I can't override whatever investigations are ongoing, and I would have expressed that as well, that they said they are going to reach out to him. So apparently, so we would have done our part from Elevate, but we can't override whatever is with the legal side of it. And so I would have expressed to Cashroy, and I mean, he can't, he can, but he reached out to me, and I drove up to St. Peter's. I met with him up there. He showed me some of his seedlings, beautiful seedlings he has up there. He presented me a few. He said, come take some of these because he sees so much they're dying. And so, I was getting him to think about, instead of them dying and you're just throwing them away, can you give some to the school so long, maybe for their garden? Can you give some to maybe the health center, whoever has like a little community garden? But it is true that he is going through a lot, but I don't know the entire details of it. And so I am so sorry that no one still has reached out to him, because they said that it is something that he would have brought to the police attention. So there isn't much that I can do but just follow up and find out who is supposed to call him and when they should call back.
Let's take this other call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on.
Yeah. I want to give one little quick experience of mine. My granddaughter, but this is our Antigua experience.
Mm-hmm.
Me live with me. But on the weekend, and mine time, I like holidays, we come down and then maybe pick up by she auntie, and we go in a town and so forth and so. So on Christmas Eve now, we find that she put on high heel shoes, and every few little steps she put a ring. So he said, no. Let me take she and me carry she on shoe store near Butter. And me buy a nice sandal. Look, from the time I will come to the door, once his school friend, just time on the shoes. Oh, what the butter? The name brand business, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And right away, this little girl mouth go long. She so. He said, boy, look how the devil boy. So me say,
that's peer pressure.
The other little girl say, listen. Wait for.
We're almost out of time. Well, we are already out of time, so you're gonna have to. You would have to, because I'll have to ask the participants to wrap up. So if you could get to the point quickly, there.
But some parents out there. We say we help some parents out there too. That's
okay.
But we don't know.
Yes.
Say, where the little kind of work? We say, well, look, you now work, she now work. We say, okay, let me tell you something. The next time you should tell she buy one shoe for you. So as long as you can't buy one shoe for you, you go put them in your mouth. And look, the little girl turn around and look the shoes and got them over 2 years after. Okay then.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. All right. That would be our last call.
I thank that caller for that real life experience, and it happens. It's called peer pressure, as Mr. Hodge indicated, and those things can also lead to bullying, and it's being able to build up our children's self-esteem and their self-worth, and to show them the value of things and the value of moments, and being able to appreciate what they have and who they have. So it is real. If you're not wearing Nike, I've heard parents say the children hide because they don't have the French toast shirt and the this kind of pants and the this bag and the Nike shoes and the this and so. And I mean, we have been there. I was in that position a long time ago, So I am that young. I don't know if you had that, but there was a time too when I used to wear my bata karate shoes. I was just talking about my girlfriends 2 days ago about this. Mommy is like a vendor, and all she could afford was the bata, the cloth one with the strong rubber brown bottoms. I know you wear that, and sometimes I used to play netball in them, and when I go like sometimes to church and say hiya hacha, and so when I walk,
you want the hiya hacha. Let me tell you what used to be around when I was going to school. Walk a mile in butter bullet. Buy one get one free, because there was a type of shoe that they call butter bullets. You know, there's peer pressure, and it affects us. And I'm glad that this dialogue this afternoon has evoked those kinds of memories. It shows that we are touching things that is not just packaged within what persons consider Elevate to be. And I believe that we have challenged this afternoon that mindset that persons have of the program and of the persons, the participants in the program. I believe, and after that I'm going to let you guys wrap up. This is my wrap. I believe that we need, as a people, as a country, and you as an institution, to have conversations beyond the participants. There's room for dialogue, because I believe strongly that if there is not going to be that dialogue between the participants and the rest of society, some of the good that is embedded in this program would be overlooked or not seen. And I would leave the rest of this program to the two of you. You have about a minute each to wrap up, or 2 minutes.
I will be brief, real brief. This program is more structured than what used to be. When it comes to the way children behave in terms of their parents' ability to give or not give, we as parents, we must teach our children to accept whatever we can afford and not to look at the Joneses. Because if we teach our children to be looking at the Joneses, there lies the problem. And when we can't give, they try and get it anyhow, which would affect society. We don't want that.
All right, thank you.
And as I close today, I just want to remind everyone that every person has the potential to rise, go and to transform, no matter their past. And so from Elevate, we are more than just an initiative and a program. We are a moment of hope, healing, opportunity, and transformation. So for any questions at all, any clarification on anything, we are located on the Irish Sunday Road. It's in a grey building. There is a big green sign that says Elevate. We upstairs ship it for less. So please feel free to come on down and find out anything, state any suggestions, any questions, anything at all that we said, anything that piqued your interest. Please feel free to drop by and we'll be able to respond to you.
Volunteer if you can.
Yes.
Well, I just want to tell my listeners, on Sunday, I'll be back with the conversation on my usual 6:30 slot. And I think I have some ammunition. That's my program, and I will do what I do on a Sunday. And that would be the time to make some comparisons. Today I wanted the public to hear what this program is about, how it impacts the participants, and how it could positively impact the society as a whole. So, what would I say? You have been listening to Issues, St. Kitts and Nevis. And tomorrow, I think they're having National Assembly, so there probably would be no issues. But grounding comes up on Friday. So, be good, and we will see you on issues starting again next Monday.
Wants you to swipe more, win more, and experience more. When you use your National Bank Visa credit or debit card this summer, you're swiping your way to VIP tickets, a celebrity makeover, and Liming Cash for Culturama 51. From June 18th to July 28th, every swipe over $100 gets you a chance to win a VIP Culturama experience. Pick your event, get a glam makeover, skip the line, and lounge like a star. Or grab $500 in Liming Cash and splurge to the max. Draws take place live at the National Bank Group Soca Monarch semifinals on July 19th and the official opening of Culturama on July 24th. 2 big nights, 4 big winners. Only with National Bank, your premier platinum sponsor for Culturama 51.
Reliable, dependable, Delta.
If you live here in St. Kitts and your tank on E, there's only one place that you should be. Maybe driving in Nevis and you need some fuel. Go straight to Delta. Don't be a fool. Get your cooking gas fast. All petroleum needs ULSD. Everyone in the region is shouting, go Delta. Premium gasoline in a fully stocked C-store. So there's only one place you should be. Delta Petroleum, baby.
RIA Easy Money Transfer Limited, located on West Independence Square Street, Bastyr, St. Kitts, and the Solomon Arcade, Nevis, offers you safe and reliable transfers at great low rates and fees to 507,000 locations worldwide, with a pickup time of just 15 minutes after your transfer. And for even more ease of doing business, we home deliver and direct bank deposits in selected countries. So if anytime you want to send money to family, friends, and loved ones, at RIA, we've got you covered. With over 30 years of experience moving money quickly, efficiently, and securely across 160 countries. Give us a call at 465-3325 in St. Kitts or 469-3325 in Nevis. Opening hours Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 8:30 in Nevis, and on Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. RIA Easy Money Transfer Limited.
Y'all ready for this? St. Kitts and Nevis, are you ready? The game is about to change. Sports betting and iGaming like you've never seen it before. Coming soon. Powered by BetCage Sports. The action, the odds, the thrill. Bet the way you want. Anytime, anywhere. Get ready, St. Kitts and Nevis, because BetCage Sports is bringing the heat. The heat is on. Proud sponsor of Cricket West Indies. Play responsibly. Must be 21 and older to play. The heat is on.
All right, this is Freedom FM, and issues would be, and Ike would be up next with Island Rhythm.
My sound, my rhythm, my best. 106.5 FM, they pan the case. Sugar bowl, EK, sense ya. Me say they in the place. Freedom Radio, lock the airways. Yo, this is Mr. Mention and me say, listen to 106.5 FM. Freedom Radio, stereo, mono. Me still a listen, yo.